Now we are seeing some accolades of these players that I was talking about. Both are regional champions, Abaan in Monterrey, Calvin in Toronto last season. Calvin also getting top 16 at Worlds just under a month ago, pretty much. Getting top 16 at London Worlds as well, and top 4 at NAIC, whereas Abaan has a good accumulation of regional accolades. 2 top 8s last season, 1 top 8 2 seasons ago, and a regional win already this season with another top 4, right? So already this season, he's had better accomplishments than every other season beforehand.
And that's what it takes, right? Play good deck, go to tournament, maybe just outskill your opponents. We'll see, because there's 2 sides of the player base. The prodigies, the people who are aging up from the seniors division into masters, taking the game very seriously. There's so many learning resources nowadays where you can get brought up to speed, so to speak, on the game, on the meta, how these decks really flow and operate at a high level very quickly. But it's not necessarily going to teach the unteachable. Just having the mental and physical endurance to play all the way to this moment in the Pittsburgh Regional Championship. Prizes down. Abaan, no secret box. Cal Connor, much nicer prizes, missing a couple psychics and a Gardevoir EX.
Yeah, the energy definitely a very important resource that seems like Calvin will not have access to throughout the early and the middle stages of the game. Being 2 psychic down means you get 5 to play with, which 5 is still plenty, but also doesn't let you accumulate like 5 on a Screamtail, and then it leaves you very vulnerable to a counter-catcher play onto your Gardevoir of sorts. And I mean, that might be a risk that Cal has to take at some point, or if the energy gets spread. Somehow starting Mew EX for Abaan, it also means there's already a 2-prize liability that can be picked off by Screamtail right off the bat or at any moment by Calvin. So that's going to be a pretty big target for Cal to go hunt for towards the end of the game as resources are utilized and as we get into a more scrappy situation.
UEX is a liability in this matchup for sure. Does give some free pivots. We'll see if it does matter in the long run. But for now, Abaan's just going to open things up with Earthen Vessel, discards a Psychic Energy, search the deck for 2 more. There's always a chance you get 2 Psychic, maybe a Psychic and a Dark, but we can see Abaan already taking stock of where are all my Monkey Dories, where are all my Darkness Energies, what's my Jellicent looking like, and figuring out basically the entire prize map, the entire matchup from here. This has been Abaan's signature. It's essentially taking stock of the entire game right away and leaning very heavily into that game plan.
The big card here missing for Abaan is definitely that secret box that you mentioned was prized. We saw Abaan start back-to-back raw secret box, I think, in the top 8 games. Now it's no longer accessible whatsoever. We see only 1 Psychic getting picked out from the deck. I see a Bravery Charm. I saw maybe a couple Night Stretchers. I don't know what else he has in his hand. Choosing only 1 Psychic means you're not thinning as much as you possibly could. There's no rolls that hit the board either, so...
And Calvin is benching. This is just a pass.
Yeah, it was a search for Psychic and nothing else. Cal already on his turn as we are advancing this game. He's going to have the Arven, and guess what he's going to be able to search for? That secret box.
Incredible. When you're going second, having access to a supporter, access to Arven, opens up the possibilities to gain Secret Box, and this is going to snowball even further, folks. Getting the Earthen Vessel for energies, getting the TM Evolution, getting Curlia's down immediately.
Yeah, pretty good find here for Cal that turn 1 Arven. Like, these 6 are not focused on Arven, but when you have that Arven turn 1 into the Secret Box, that's pretty powerful. We do see that Calvin is playing 2 Arven. Abaan is playing 3, so a little bit of higher focus, a little bit of increased chance of having that turn 1 secret box that is so coveted.
And even though Calvin is in such a massive position to take over this game immediately, get a strong setup, still has to do his due diligence. Search the deck, check the prize cards, figure out where the Monkey Dories are. This is going to be a slow turn technically. You're just evolving some Pokemon, getting your threats established, getting your engines up and running. But maybe Abaan can say, okay, well, maybe I can strand something. Maybe I can lean into Frillish, get some item locking going, slow you down completely. And Calvin Connor wants to avoid some small percentage scenario like that at all costs. Secret Box is indeed grabbed, of course, needs to make another tough decision about which 3 cards to discard to achieve this powerful effect.
Yeah, having a tough time deciding in this particular spot. He is playing 2 copies of Technical Machine Evolution, so I'm surprised Technical Machine Evolution isn't one of those cards hitting the discard pile. He's definitely having a rough time. He's considering Bravery Charm over the Technical Machine Evolution, maybe thinking that if Abaan has an Iono and the Technical Machine, well, no, he's going to use it now, right? So the other Kirlia is available, yeah. I mean, choosing the Kirlia, the Artisan, and the Fez, keeping that Technical Machine Evolution in hand. Now he has 2. He's going for a research for next turn in case Abaan's hand is not very powerful. He'd rather go for the research instead of the Iono. And I'm sure we're going to see, yeah, an Earthen Vessel here in order to get the energy needed for the Technical Machine Evolution, which will probably be the discard of choice. So we are seeing one. No, it's going to be the Artisan.
Ooh, okay. So is keeping double TM Evolution going to try to just turbo into a Gardevoir EX, perhaps? And by discarding the Artisan, Calvin Connor is trying to make a bad situation worse for his opponent. You didn't bench any Pokemon. I'm not going to give you any help. You've got to draw out of the situation yourself. Darkness Energy attached to Monkey Dory. TM Evolution also attached. There's just 1 route. Kirlia was discarded, but the second one is, of course, still in the deck. There's an Evolution, and it's back over to Abaan Ahmed. Can he fight back with just a Mew EX in play, essentially completely skipping his first turn?
My goodness, he top-decked a Psychic Energy, maybe the one that he chose not to grab off of that Earthen Vessel. His hand is
don't do it like that.
Dead. Yeah, I mean, I don't know which
He's
Psychic
smiling.
Energy.
Maybe he realizes that there was a small percentage there to thin 1 more energy, perhaps hoping that his opponent, surely my opponent's just going to play Iono or put an Artisan down. Sometimes you wonder your opponent needs to do a setup, passes, another TM Evo. I can't even see when Abaan is ending his turn because there's nothing to be done.
You see Bravery Charm onto the Kirlia just in case, you never know. Abaan asking him why he didn't play the Iono instead of the research. We see the Ultra Ball, and we actually, that's game. Ultra Ball for Gardevoir EX, discard the 3rd Psychic, power up Gardevoir EX with Psychic Embrace, and that's going to be game 1 in this top 4 match, Adam.
Calvin Connor comes into game 1 hot off of his win in top 8, moves into top 4, and takes it down. Abaan Ahmed finding Gardevoir's worst opponent, dead draws in the opener.
Yep, dead draw can be pretty brutal. And, I mean, I think he had like double Counter Catcher, Bravery Charm, Psychic Energies, Rescue Stretcher, Night Stretcher, pardon me, and maybe something else, I don't know.
Cal Connor was
here. Yeah.
was so thankful to play Solitaire that game. Abaan played Earthen Vessel, and that's it. Didn't even attach the energy.
Didn't even attach the energy. Didn't even use the full value of the Earthen Vessel to fully thin his deck. I mean, at that point, 1 extra card, more or less, percentage-wise, is not very impactful. It always feels bad when you choose not to thin a card and then you top deck exactly a card. I mean, it could have been any of the other Psychic Energies.
I'd like to believe it was exactly.
I'd like to believe that too, but
the Psychic Energy. What a punish! Unbelievable. How could he have not seen the future? But I do truly believe that Abaan was expecting his opponent to probably just put an Artisan down just for the sake of their own setup. Sometimes your opponent seems to have a dead hand, but it's just because they have a really powerful supporter that's going to open up that hand on the next turn. But Calvin Connor took the read and said, I'm not giving you any help. Good luck, bro. Earthen Vessel to now kick things off. Calvin Connor with routes in the active spot. Discards a Psychic, always the best discard target early to find 2 more energy from the deck. Abaan, meanwhile, starting with Monkey Dory. 1 Psychic is grabbed. Are you going to find another one?
I thought we were going to have a reverse situation where Calvin's hand was not great and he was just going to have the rolls, but did see an Iono in his hand, so he's definitely going to be able to see at least a few more cards next turn to hopefully set up and find other resources. Now, in terms of prizes, Counter Catcher being priced could be detrimental. The Bravery Charm as well. And the 3rd Monkey Dory, probably not a big deal. It's actually the 4th Monkey Dory. There's 4 copies of Monkey Dory here in Calvin's deck.
Yeah, Calvin Connor on the 4 Darkness, 4 Monkey Dory. A lot of Gardevoir players have backed off of these counts just to open up a couple more slots, have some more play, find a way to squeeze in Counter Catchers and Bravery Charms that are now at a premium for this metagame. But Cal Connor sticking to his guns, 4 Monkey Dory, 4 Darkness, 2 Bravery Charm.
8 Psychic. That's also a little bit out of the norm. I mean, we saw 8 Psychic for Earthen Vessel do really well in Monterey, where Abaan won, and in Frankfurt, where Rune won. And we're seeing Calvin like have a mishmash of all the Gardevoir variants. 4 Monkey Dory, extra Psychic Energy, extra Darkness Energy, extra Bravery Charms. These Gardevoir players are just all over the place today.
This is a very aggressive take on the mirror match. Just going to be an attach to Ralts, and Abaan is already off to the races. Knows that this is going to go to a game 3. I'm going to need all the time in the world immediately. Ultra Ball, searching through the deck, evaluating the prizes, and what's the pickup here? Maybe a Ralts of his own.
Yeah, you can tell he's not like very, very happy about what happened in the previous game. He has no more margin for error to advance to the finals, right? Whereas Calvin can lose a very close, fully drawn out game and still have another chance where he will also get to choose who goes first and what happens now.
Is that a Frillish?
Yeah, that is a Frillish being grabbed by the Ultra Ball. Jellicent DX is prized. Copy of Rare Candy is also prized. So Abaan really favoring those early Frillish to stop your opponent from attacking or advancing their game state. It's almost like this is Body version 2.0, right? We have the item lock, really deny, and I mean, Body is usually how you give yourself a chance against Gardevoir as a Dragapult deck, so why not try to use that very same advantage? It's the differential, right? The difference between Calvin's deck and Abaan's deck is that there's item lock on one side, there's no item lock on the other.
Yeah, exactly. Two different ideas, opposed ideas on how to approach the mirror match. Keep my opponent from playing, or just have the potential for explosive early aggression and momentum. The extra Monkey Dories and the extra Psychic Energies translate directly to damage output, being able to deflect the counter attacks that your opponent are trying to put up to stop your momentum. Monkey Dory in the active spot finds Air Balloon, can retreat into Frillish, plus Ralts and a Professor's Research. 7 fresh cards, massive. Turn 2 from Abaan, going to conclude with Oceanic Gloom for item lock.
I mean, already a huge, huge difference from the first game, right? We've already played 10 more cards than we did in that very first game. We see the Oceanic Gloom for 20, and now it's on Calvin to do stuff, and there's no more Nest Ball available. Secret Box cannot be played. Ultra Ball cannot be played. Rare Candy cannot be played either, so we cannot have an explosive turn 1 aggression. See the Iono. Call needs a lot of help here.
Can retreat the Ralts. There might be another energy to just manually attach to Clefairy. Kirlia evolves in the active and retreats. Lily's Clefairy EX enters the active spot. Full Moon Rondo does 20 damage plus 20 more for each bench Pokemon. There is enough bench space Pokemon on the bench for Full Moon Rondo to take the knockout, but doesn't have the energy attached, passes over. Abaan already going full throttle with his own game plan. Frillish number 2, Monkey Dory with a Darkness Energy. Professor's Research, 7 more cards. It just, the gap gets wider and wider. This double Frillish strategy, we saw shades of this in Abaan's match versus Goldengo, and now in the Gardevoir mirror, it's bearing fruit.
With Jellicent DX being prized, there's not a huge threat we can pose. I mean, we already attached energy to Monkey Dory, so we weren't going to be able to attack with it anyways. Just going to establish the Kirlia, but Abaan very close to going all cylinders. If Call doesn't get much help here, he could be down 2 prize cards, or we could see a Screamtail snipe this Kirlia and leave Calvin with nothing on the board.
Absolutely devastating.
Huge
Artisan off the top.
Into an Iono. Abaan hadn't even finished shuffling his deck. Both players playing at a super fast pace, which honestly I love to see.
Yeah, we know that this matchup can get very, very intricate when it comes down to the wire in the final stages of the game. And while the pressure is off, so to speak, while the plays are still a little bit more straightforward, the players are confidently executing on the lines that are going to give them the best chance to hang on in this match. Calvin Connor's back is completely against the wall. He's got Gardevoir EX now. This is going to keep his Psychic Embraces going, and I think he's only got 1 Psychic in the discard so far.
Yep. The item log is actually saving this Kirlia right now. Otherwise, if Gal could play item cards, could play that secret box that he found, he could get another Psychic in the discard pile, grab Screamtail, and snipe his opponent's only Kirlia in play with no backup Ralts either. We are seeing the Screamtail anyways, though, so are we planning on sniping the other Frillish? Are we just going to take the knockout on the active, perhaps, so that the Clefairy is not exposed in the active spot? Now that we've set up the Gardevoir, that's pretty well protected. Like, Gardevoir decks right now lack an option to do huge damage outside of Clefairy EX.
So 3
Oh,
psychic.
there's 3.
Ooh, I missed that one. Okay, Calvin Connor, 3 psychic energy in the discard
the
pile.
Vessel from the beginning. That discarded 1, the retreat discarded 2, and then this next retreat discarded the 3rd. So Kirlia goes down, Screamtail and Gardevoir already up, and now Abaan has the item lock, but doesn't have anything else.
Well played. Okay, Abaan is maybe having to pivot massively from this point. Now that Screamtail is in the active, Abaan has to respond. It has 30 HP remaining, which does mean that Oceanic Gloom is not going to take it down.
There's only 1 Ralt available because the 3rd copy of Ralts is prized. There's 1 in the discard pile, 1 is right here, and there's 1 in the prize cards over there. So that means if Abaan can't bench 2 Ralts at once, Screamtail can't just snipe these Ralts forever, but Abaan probably gonna be going ahead and grabbing either Superrod or Night Stretcher to make sure that he has 2 Ralts down, therefore guaranteeing that at least one of them survives the turn.
Incredible. I thought Abaan was going to run away with this game, and Calvin Connor swings the game on a dime. Thanks to the Screamtail having just enough psychic energy in the discard pile to snipe that Kirlia, and now Abaan has to play responsive. Night Stretcher is indeed found, 2 routes on the bench. Screamtail, not too much of a threat at this point to keep Gardevoir contained.
Now there's 2 Ralts on the board. Thankfully, this 20 extra damage is actually going to help Calvin do even more damage. Not that he needs it, everything was in range of that Roaring Scream already, but could be a little bit of extra damage for Munkidori. We're going to start seeing that. So now that there's 2 Ralts in play, and you get no benefit really from knocking out either one, because the other one remains, then you can probably snipe your opponent's Munkidori, therefore giving you the Munkidori advantage. However, because there's still Ralts, if you snipe one, you're asking Abaan, do you have Rare Candy Gardevoir? Otherwise, I'm going to stop you from getting Gardevoir at all. So there is definitely merit to perhaps sniping a Ralts, but you know Abaan also searched for Secret Box last turn. So Calvin going for that Munkidori denial. We're going to see Rare Candy Gardevoir, and we're finally going to see Abaan get into the board, but he's already 2 prizes behind Adam.
Yeah, taking 2 prizes while also prioritizing, trying to get ahead in the Munkidori setup is so important. I think really means that he's sticking to his philosophy for the mirror match of being aggressive, maintaining a forward stance, and building up pressure on the opponent. Abaan Ahmed uses Secret Box, discards, looks to be Mew EX, Screamtail, and Technical Machine Evolution, picks up Professor's Research, Artisan, can get an item and a tool as well. Earthen Vessel being searched, and Air Balloon already in play. Is Bravery Charm available?
For a second, I thought we didn't have Ultra Ball, so we couldn't search for Gardevoir, but the last remaining Ultra Ball that's available to us right now is in the hand. So otherwise, there's 1 prize, 2 have been played, I believe. There's none left in the deck, but the last one is in the hand. Now, do we have enough cards to discard? It's going to be, yeah, the Artisan for, yeah, we definitely have. So Artisan discarded, 2 Psychics found, and those get discarded with the Ultra Ball. We have a Dark Energy as well for our Munkidori, so there will be a pretty big response here from Abaan. He can also just knock out this Screamtail with Adrenabrain since it only has 10 HP left and get an attack off against something over on Cal's side. Probably the Munkidori. I don't think Cal is going to give him the 2 prizes from Clefairy EX.
Whenever we count out a player, they find the line, they already have it in their minds, in their lines of Rare Candy, Gardevoir EX. Artisan has to be used now. Picking up another Munkidori, just replacing the one that went down. Pulling ahead once more. This tug of war, this back and forth is so important.
The man has in his hand Research, Darkness Energy, and Bravery Charm, which all go down to the Munkidori and a fresh 7 new cards.
These researches are so filthy.
Yeah, they really are. Gardevoir players just have such a big advantage when Research gets played. Only 2 energy in the discard pile. No, there's 4. Yeah, I was wondering where they all went.
4 Psychic Energy to work with in the discard pile, 1 being assigned thanks to Psychic Embrace, already stacking up damage for Monkey Dory to reassign. Adrenabrain number 1 is used, and 1 damage counter goes to Screamtail for the knockout. 1 prize card for Abaan Ahmed.
And it was the Jealous NTX. The Jealous NTX was grabbed off the prize cards, immediately slammed into the table out of excitement. And, I mean, Carl hadn't even promoted, so now he has the piece of information that the Jealous NTX is coming. Probably wasn't going to change the decision, but yeah, a lot of excitement there shown by Abaan. A little preemptive there.
Monkey Dory now in the active. We thought that Calvin Connor could pull ahead, could put down some pressure. That Screamtail so important to just take down a Monkey Dory, taking down Curlia. But after recovering, thanks to the double Ralts, Abaan is back at it with Oceanic Curse in the active spot. Calvin Connor needs to somehow take down this big jellyfish with no items and no tools.
And this is huge. Like, Abaan might actually choose not to KO here, just deal 80 damage. There's no dark energy put there. And, like, if he committed all energies, all 4 energy to do 160 damage with Power Press and get the KO onto this Monkey Dory, he would have no more energy left over in his discard pile, and with 1 Psychic being prized, that could potentially cause him problems in terms of retreating, finding that last energy to be able to get that Gardevoir out of the active eventually. I mean, with the item lock, he's pretty safe from Counter Catcher, but you never know when your opponent decides to play a copy of Boss's Orders instead of Counter Catcher, and I don't think either of these players knows their exact 60 cards.
Monkey Dory going to retreat. Artisan giving a lot of help to both players. It's Psychic Embrace for 2 Psychic Energy, setting up a Mind Bend.
My goodness. Now the Monkey Dory on the bench can be knocked out by Adrenabrain. The active Monkey Dory could go down as well. The confusion is certainly annoying to deal with at this point in time. You can just go out into your Frillish, keep the item lock that is clearly hurting Call quite a bit, and still get a knockout.
Darkness Energy picked up from Earthen Vessel attached to Monkey Dory. There's 2 Adrenabrains available for Abaan. 1 goes to knock out the benched Monkey Dory with 10, once again, 10 HP remaining. Gets knocked out. Another prize card to Abaan Ahmed, and another one to be taken after an attack is announced.
And the Ultra Wall of the prize cards is actually huge. If the Curlia is still in the deck, you can get your backup Gardevoir as well, and gives you a bit more freedom to use the active, the one already on the bench, and just go for the coin flip.
Wow, goes off the table. Another coin flip, Tails.
Tails, not really fearing that 60 damage from the Monkey Dory. Tried to get the KO, that's fine. He's really valuing having this item lock down.
And Jellicent can damage itself in Confusion if it wants, because you're planning on sending any residual damage over to your opponent's side of the board. Typically, this would be a big detriment, but Abaan is okay with either outcome. Monkey Dory retreats from the active spot now. But what takes its place? 220 damage on Jellicent EX. With a little bit of help, Gardevoir EX can take this down.
Yep, does have access to Monkey Dory. Did top deck a Dark Energy, I believe. So it's going to be just enough to take down this Jellicent EX with 220 damage total after Adrenabrain and with Miracle Force.
Math works out perfectly. Jellicent EX goes down, and Calvin Connor still trying to hang on in this match by putting a big amount of HP and a lot of pressure in the active spot. 1 Darkness Energy attached to Monkey Dory. Both sides currently even on Adrenabrain numbers. Healing the Gardevoir, very important here.
Taking a knockout on the Jellicent EX. Very nicely done. Huge hand for Abaan, though. Can probably pull off whatever he needs. He might be able to just get back the Jellicent, keep that pressure, keep the item lock, and now with that combined with an Iono 2-2, whilst using double Monkey Dory to take down his opponent's damaged Monkey Dory right on the bench. I mean, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't do that. You could also Counter Catcher, knock out your opponent's Clefairy whilst knocking out Monkey Dory, putting you down to 1 prize card and 1 Screamtail away from winning the game.
And based on the amount of Monkey Dories, because you already have a Gardevoir EX as well, getting Iono potentially to 1 is probably fine. Jellicent recovered with Night Stretcher. Iono being showed, being considered 3 copies in the hand.
Do you play the Counter Catcher? I think that's what stopped him. We're going to see the Counter Catcher. We're going to see a Clefairy. So we're going to see a 3 price turn, bringing the Calvin down to 2 cards in hand. bringing or keeping the item lock as well. Both players unfazed as we see them both completely concentrated. Calvin knows that if he loses this game, this is still fine. He still has another chance to walk away the winner. But this turn is huge. Double Adrenaline Brain, KO Monkey Dory, 160. Oh, it's actually 10 short of knocking out the Clefairy.
So send some damage over to Gardevoir EX instead.
Ooh,
TM Devo.
TM Devo. Bye-bye, Guardy.
Unreal. Another line we hadn't considered is the TMD evolution. If you know if Gardevoir, you can't attack to energy, the Lilius Clefairy's just chilling in the active. You aren't going to be able to power it up.
And we're going to a game 3, ladies and gentlemen.
This match is so dynamic. It seemed that it was in Calvin Connor's favor, and then suddenly Abaan swings it back in his favor. Calvin was trying to mount a comeback, but Abaan leaning into, once again, Oceanic Curse and Monkey Dory to take down every avenue back into the game. What a clean game number 2. And now as we head into game number 3, this is going to be incredibly exciting because now both players know what their opponent's about. We're going to see a lot of adjustments here, and I hope that the prize cards are kind.
I mean, game 1 was pretty much a dud game. Like, we didn't see Abaan do anything, but now we saw his deck running in all cylinders. We saw the power of the item lock, that Frillish Oceanic Bloom into the Jellicent EX, and it's also especially strong against decks that usually don't play Boss's Orders, right? So Calvin had no genuine way to move that Jellicent EX from the active to the bench. Let's take a look at what happened in this game 2, which was definitely very one-sided by Abaan, but Calvin was never truly out of it until that TM Devo happened.
And moving Monkey Dory damage over to take the knockout mid-turn, pulling Jellicent from the prize cards, completely shifted the match. That way you get the knockout plus Oceanic Curse, not needing to retreat into the Frillish, putting something even bigger in the active spot, brings Calvin Connor's Gardevoir EX into the active spot to take the knockout instead, and after it was devolved into Kirlia and knocked out, there was nothing else to be said. I was wondering about a line, Pablo. If somehow Calvin Connor could get a monstrously strong setup, ton of bench Ralts, etc. in play before the item lock hits, have tons of wiggle room to work with, and taking a closer look at the deck list, we've got Artisan, so a couple Nest Balls, nobody Buddy Pop in here, try to go for double Ralts. Both players trying to opt for much slower setups, but it is Abaan who is at the advantage in an environment like this.
Yeah, and I mean, you really can't delay a turn 1 item lock if your opponent starts the Frillish, right? So we do see 2 Ultra Balls prized, a Kirlia and a Gardevoir, so that could definitely play into Abaan struggling a little bit to set up under, like, he wants to keep the item lock, but he also wants to TM Devo as well at some point, so he's gonna rely on the Jellicent as well. We see the priority on the Monkey Dory and not on the Ralts once more. I don't know what else he has in his hand currently. I think I saw a bunch of Dark Energy. I think all 3 of them in his hand. So
yeah, Abaan has shown us he's not afraid to lean into the Frillish.
Yeah, Frillish is definitely his way to slow things down, give himself time to just set up and take over games. Yeah, I see 3 Dark Energies, Rare Candy, a TM Devo, and an Iono. So, I mean, the Artisan you know is going to stick. You know next turn you'll definitely be able to grab a Ralt if you need to. You could even have double Monkey Dory set up before you even have the Ralt, so you can benefit from having these 3 Dark Energies already thanks to that Artisan.
Abaan has a very interesting way to track whether or not or when he can put Ralts in play. It's just how many Psychic Energies can Calvin Connor put in the discard pile. We saw he was just barely able to get over that hurdle with the Scream Tail and get the Snipe, but if your opponent's under item lock, I don't know if he's going to be able to press the advantage. Ultra Ball, discarding a Progressive Research and Rare Candy. For a second I was like, is that a luxurious cape?
No,
but
no.
These old school, beautiful, rare candies coming through. The Lilius Clefairy in the active spot with the Darkness Energy. TM Evo already prepped. And Ralts considered being grabbed. And Artisan still can be used as well. So TM Evo on a double Ralt still looking very enticing right now.
Yeah, actually choosing to go the Monkey Dory route instead of the Ralts. I mean, Cal has a Bravery Charm in his hand, and he's guaranteed a Ralts with this Artisan that's already in play. So I don't think he minds too much, and he's going to be able to get at least some use out of the Bravery Charm for sure. So I like that. reconsideration. And I think grabbing that Ralts is like automatic pilot kicking in. I want the Ralts out, but actually evaluating fully my hand. The 2 cards left here are Research and Bravery Charm, so at least you get some use out of the Bravery Charm. But now, unlike Game 1, Call is a player that has a liability, right? He started Lily's Clefairy EX again this time around, and that's going to be a problem perhaps later down the line, just like the Mew EX could have been a problem for Abaan in Game 1. It didn't end up mattering, but being forced to start a 2-prizer is never a good thing in these sort of mirror matches.
Empty hand Research. Calvin Connor also taking a page from Abaan's book, getting 7 fresh cards after everything is said and done. Bravery Charm, a Monkey Dory. Also taking note with 1 Darkness Energy and 2 Monkey Dory in the prize cards. Calvin Connor wants to prioritize getting Monkey Dories down. That way you can use your attachment for turn for the Darkness Energy. If Ralts enters play, gets evolved into Kirlia, you've got Gardevoir. 1 Psychic Embrace is taking over for your energy attachments for your attackers for turn. Your main attachment for turn, your once per turn from hand, can be used for Darkness Energy, and hopefully he will have the tempo of getting Darkness Energy, Adrenabrains, and throwing that damage back over.
What a turn. Double Kirlia in play off that. Ultra Ball doesn't even need the rare candy that he already has in his hand. And I think he has a Research to follow up. So Call's board already looking extremely, extremely developed. And guess what Abaan has off of this turn? He top-decked the Secret Box, I do believe.
If you ever doubted that he wasn't going to have a strong turn, Secret Box is here to guarantee he's in this Game 3. Calvin Connor was more than happy to just get 1 Ralts, 1 Kirlia, but after the Research, finds a second Ultra Ball to discard 2 Psychic Energy and get the second Kirlia down as well. Abaan now using Artisan to thin the deck, get a basic Pokemon.
I honestly think that Secret Box might not have been like an ideal top deck just because of everything in Abaan's hand. Like now you're like, if you don't play it, it's a little awkward, and it can help you get like the Jellicent up and running with a TM Evo into Ralts pretty much, so that you get to keep the item lock, match your opponent's setup, but you also have a Kirlia prize. And yeah, I mean, if you have to discard the Candy and the TM Devo, the Iono is like the least useful card. Having Secret Box is always good, but at this point in time, like if it had only been the second card off the top instead of the first one, and you Iono into it, then that's really strong.
Making the right decision on what to discard means that you have to see into the future accurately. And the only way to do that is if you played tons of the Gardevoir mirror. Abaan has shown us time and time again that his calculations right from the opening of games will come true later on. But after the Secret Box resolved, Professor's Research, TM Evo, Ultra Ball, and Artisan are the pickups.
Yeah, we're going to try and do the TM. Well, we're definitely going to do TM Evo, and we're going to Research as well. And so we're going to be able to evolve into a Kirlia through with item lock. But the item lock is definitely less good now than it was the previous game. I think there's already a couple Psychic in the discard pile that Cal was able to discard off the Earthen Vessel, and the Ultra Ball might be 3 actually. And we can, I mean, the hard part is now getting Gardevoir EX. You cannot Ultra Ball for Gardevoir EX as long as the Jellicent EX is in the active, so that's going to be the tough part. But if you find it, and all of a sudden you can get Screamtail through the Artisan very easily, then once again, bye-bye Kirlia.
And leaning into Jellicent can be dangerous in this specific scenario, but I don't know if Abaan has any other choice. Ultra Ball, discarding once more the TM Devo and Artisan. Just digging a little bit deeper now. Jellicent evolves in the active spot. And a Research for 7 fresh cards.
Not even attaching the Darkness Energy to the Jellicent, risking it all on finding one, which you have pretty good odds at finding a Psychic, right? But I don't know. I don't know if I'd be brave enough to take that calculated risk that I won't whiff energy at that point in time.
And that's the boldness of these top players, sometimes taking a big risk. I want to put this Darkness Energy in the discard pile so I can get it onto a Monkey Dory much easier later. If Ralts goes down, being able to easily attach Psychic Energy to pay for Jellicent's retreat cost is going to be a tall order.
All right, Ultra Ball preemptively to get those Psychics in the discard pile. Grab that Gardevoir EX, which will be ready in the hand. basically betting that your opponent will not have Iono because the other Gardevoir EX is in the prize card along with 2 Ultra Balls. So if Cal does have an Iono and that Gardevoir EX goes to the bottom, I don't know how easy it will be to find later down the line. There's 2 Ultra Ball already played, so there will actually be no actual search available for a Gardevoir EX if it even survives the turn. We see the Gardevoir hit the board already in hand. We see the attachment for turn. If Screamtail is available, which I believe it is, that Kirlia is long gone here, Adam.
Getting rid of Kirlia, your opponent just has Jellicent in the active spot, and Calvin Connor seeing exactly what he wanted to see in game number 2, getting this early aggressive snipe, and indeed it is Screamtail with Gardevoir, and I don't know if Abaan can hold back the onslaught from this point.
Yeah, Cal's setup was just too strong in that one turn where he had items. Jellicent TX, of course, is a nuisance. We're going to see the Iono on top. I mean, the Gardevoir being down in the bottom of the deck doesn't matter anymore because there won't be a Kirlia to evolve into it.
And after drawing from Iono, retreat from Lulu's Clefairy, Screamtail comes into the active spot, 3 Psychic Energy attached to it, and that is plenty. Snipes on Kirlia. No items, no tool cards required. Abaan Ahmed can attach for turn onto Jellicent if you want to go for Power Press. I think that's almost forced at this point. Calvin Connor won't be able to recover Screamtail at the very least without the use of item cards.
Yep, that's a pretty big deal. That means you don't need double routes this upcoming turn as long as that Screamtail goes down, and it's definitely going down, right? One more attachment will do the trick. That's what we're going to see. You have to stretch her for the routes here, right? I mean, he's considering not doing it. Are we going to see a Gardevoir less mirror match? We're not doing it. Okay.
Iono just shuffling the hand back to the bottom, wants to draw 6 before committing to Night Stretcher, is not confident that Gardevoir is going to be the key to this matchup. Is pure Jellicent the way to go? Nest Ball for Pheasantipity as well.
Okay, I guess he had guaranteed routes anyways with the Artisan. I was thinking one of them was priced or something. But yeah, we have guaranteed routes. Never mind. It was completely fine to not commit the stretcher right there. We were always guaranteed the routes. We get extra cards thanks to the Pheasantipity. We take down this Screamtail, and we get back those 2 Dark Energies that we had to discard in the beginning of the game, along with the Kirlia, because the other Kirlia is stuck in the prize cards and at the very top as well.
And the last time Calvin Connor was able to snipe routes, keep the Gardevoir under control, Abaan just chilled, waited for it to come back into play, evolved up, and we'll see after Screamtail goes down if that's going to be the best outcome for Abaan. Can Calvin Connor keep the pressure going? Gardevoir EX is on the bench. Plenty of attackers still to be seen, and both benches full. Lulu's Clefairy has managed to survive all this time. You talked about it being a potential liability, Pablo, and I think that is the case for low HP attackers. But if you can keep up the pressure and force your opponent to be unable to choose their targets, maybe this Clefairy can stay safe and be a clutch attacker in the finale of this game number 3.
Have to see how Calvin responds to this. No more items available. This Jellicent TX very tough to take down. Confusion could be a nuisance, especially because there's no possibility of Gardevoir EX anytime soon, pretty much for Abaan. So the Confusion could put in some work here. Give Calvin a breathing turn. We still have plenty of time, so I'm definitely hoping we see this game fully conclude at this point in time. And yeah, we're going to see the retreat. Is it a big Clefairy attack? I guess it is.
Lulu's Clefairy in the active spot gets another Psychic attached with Psychic Embrace, and Calvin Connor has 1 Monkey Dory to move damage over.
Now 3 damage counters on the active. Full Moon Rondo does
180, I think I'm calculating here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 160, I believe.
Oh, pardon.
140, actually. 140 damage total. With 30 from the Monkey Dory, that's when we have 100. Oh, no, yeah. 100.
Yeah, it's 20 and then 20 more for each bench.
160 total plus the 30. That's why there's 80 damage, 80 HP left on the Jellicent TX. All right, so now it's on Abaan. He definitely got like this turn where he didn't get knocked out. The routes was guaranteed to survive. He's holding Rare Candy in his hand. Gardevoir EX at the very bottom. The other Gardevoir EX was not grabbed, but we do have Arven for that Ultra Ball, which was the prize card from the Screamtail, so that ended up working out beautifully.
Still searching the deck now, finding Bravery Charm alongside Ultra Ball from Arvin. Immediately plays Ultra Ball, discards Mew EX.
And the Kirlia.
Okay, and Artisan for Monkey Dory. Gardevoir picked up from the Ultra Ball.
Wonder if that Pheasantipity on the bench will ever be a liability here for Abaan. It's going to give him a very solid amount of cards throughout the game. Does have double Monkey Dory access, and this is worst case scenario for Calvin. Abaan was able to find Rare Candy. Gardevoir will be able to attach 2 more energies. That 20 damage left over on the Clefairy will guarantee that it's getting KO'd. And now Abaan has 2 Adrenabrains that he can utilize onto anything he wants.
Time and time again, you count Abaan Ahmed out, and he just buys some time behind Jellicent. It takes a hit. Gardevoir EX comes through with Rare Candy, and now the Adrenabrains are up and running.
Now this, by doing 6 on the Kirlia, means if Carl isn't able to set up a second Monkey Dory right here, then he can send 3 damage back, heal that Kirlia, but then Abaan will just send 6 more damage and get an extra prize card that way. And that's been the theme of this weekend, right? How to get extra prizes without really fully attacking. Seeing an Iono here for Call. Monkey Dory was in hand, but with no Darkness Energy, there's no point in benching it. And actually, the 3rd Darkness Energy is in the prize cards. Cal does play 4, but it was not found right here. So that Kirlia is for sure gone next turn, along with possibly the Clefairy as well, if Abaan is able to get a 3rd Monkey Dory going here.
An incredible measure against the opponent. Calvin Connor backed into a corner, and this is what I was talking about a little bit earlier, right, Pablo, of forcing your opponent to Monkey Dory, forcing your opponent to move damage off of certain targets in order to preserve their board. Otherwise, if they can't, you take a massive turn. But if they're moving damage off of their board just to maintain their position, they aren't using it to pressure you, and you still maintain your advantage. So I love this 2-pronged attack, so to speak, from Abaan, and Calvin Connor moves a little bit of damage over and does finally take the knockout on Jellicent EX. And once again, this is all to be done with no items and no tool cards. Calvin Connor was under a massive restriction these last couple turns, and Abaan now comes roaring out from the bench with Gardevoir EX.
Interestingly enough, Calvin did grab the top 2 prizes instead of the bottom 2. And was able to grab that Darkness Energy off the top. So now it's on to Abaan to see what he can make of this. He has double Monkey Dory to potentially KO the Clefairy, or utilize 1 to KO the Kirlia. If he can find that 3rd Darkness Energy, which his deck doesn't have too many cards remaining, he could KO both and still be able to attack. So we see 3 damage from the Gardevoir going onto Kirlia, getting that KO, freeing up the Gardevoir EX from the prize cards. And we have the other Darkness Energy. Oh, not. Where is it? Is it already in hand? Do we have a 3rd Monkey Dory?
I think, is that in the...
Yeah,
it is in hand.
It is in hand already. Okay, so we're just getting the Psychic into a discard pile. We're going to get the Night Stretcher. We're going to get the Jellicent. We're going to get possibly the KO on the active with 2 more Monkey Dories. And we're going to counter Catcher and continue the item lock. Yep, there we have it. There's the other Monkey Dory. Is Clefairy going down here? Do you want to keep the energy stuck here to potentially prevent a retreat maybe? We'll have to see, but Abaan definitely in the commanding spot here.
All of the energy and damage going to Jellicent, moves damage to Lily's Clefairy, takes 2 more prize cards, and item lock is maintained with Oceanic Curse. 4 energy on Jellicent means that Power Press does 160 damage.
What a turn. Adrenabrain really showcasing its strength, just being able to draw 3 prizes before even attacking. Down to 2 prizes for Abaan. Active Gardevoir EX, fully damaged. You can see it in Calvin's face. He's not happy about this. He knows the doors are closing for him.
Jellicent EX seems to be a monstrous mirror breaker. We thought that he would fall behind in the Monkey Dory attachments, but Jellicent slowing down the opponent is so devastating for this mirror. I thought that Gardevoir would be able to set up completely fine. You have Artisan. It should be fine to just evolve. You have 1 turn of maybe if using a supporter, getting TM Evo, but it's simply not enough.
I mean, we can retreat. I don't think Abaan can close the game next turn, but this just doesn't feel great. We're going to see the confusion. Like, Abaan's Monkey Dories are just doing more damage than Calvin is doing each turn, basically. So he can probably risk the confusion as well and be completely fine. I don't know if there's a way to close out the game just now. We don't have space for a Screamtail, so we can't get a double knockout anywhere. We can't snipe the Gardevoir EX. There's no Professor Turo or Penny that could help us. Abaan really trying to figure out exactly what to do in this situation. I feel like he's probably very close to locking this up. He just needs to make sure that he doesn't make any sort of mistake. That Bravery Charm putting in a lot of weight here.
When you are in a commanding position like this, you absolutely cannot lose focus. As the game grinds on, Abaan's Monkey Dories are going to slowly take over the advantage of the game, right? Being able to move 90 damage counters, Calvin Connor only able to take advantage of moving 60 damage back.
This confusion being extremely annoying. We're going to see the triple Monkey Dory moving 90 damage. That's so much damage onto the Gardevoir EX. Do you pass here? Do you try to attack? That's a lot of damage on the Gardevoir. 90 HP left total. We're going to see the coin flip. And it's a Tails. That's 0 for 2 for Abaan on Confusion Flip so far on stream.
And that puts Jellicent down to 190 HP. Gardevoir can come into the active spot, knock it out with Miracle Force, but that still leaves Calvin Connor with just one prize card remaining. Meanwhile, Abaan needs to just deal a pittance of damage to Gardevoir EX to take his remaining 2 prize cards and advance to the finals.
Can Calvin match the third Monkey Dory? It is in play now. Can he find that Darkness Energy that he grabbed off the prize cards? He can't play item cards. That's such a big deal. So, I mean, yeah, there's one Darkness Energy in the discard pile. There's still one left in the deck because Calvin does play 4 copies. We're going to see the Arven, but both cards will be unplayable. So basically just thinning your deck of 2 cards at this point in time. If Calvin can't find the Darkness Energy next turn and send 90 damage back, this 90 damage that Abaan is sending to the Gardevoir EX, yep, the Bravery Charm cannot be played. There's no tools, there's no item possibilities. The Bravery Charm was in play since the very beginning, right, on the first turn actually. But Calvin is down to this last turn. He needs to find the Darkness Energy off the top next turn. Otherwise, that 90 damage being sent through Adrenabrain is gonna allow Abaan to take the knockout.
And now, finally, after Adrenabrain, Calvin Connor, Mind Bend once more for another 60 damage. Jellicent heavily damaged in the active spot. Still plenty of damage to send back over to Calvin Connor's side. The ping-ponging of damage counters in these board states for Gardevoir is where things get immensely tricky. So there is the straightforward idea of piling so much damage on one target, but then you see players go that next layer deeper of assigning a little bit of damage here, a little bit of damage there to make their opponents.
Tails again off of that confusion power press. Not able to get through. That's 0 for 3 here.
Jellicent just keeps hitting itself.
Yep, one more turn for Calvin here. With 60 HP remaining, if you heal twice, you're left with 120 HP. So Calvin still has one more turn. No help off the top. No possible good attacker left here at this point in time. That deniability of Oceanic Curse onto the Night Stretchers and the Super Rods and no way to move this Jellicent EX off the active is just so huge. And Calvin just 10 damage off from knocking out the Jellicent EX this turn. You have to wonder if that 90 damage wouldn't have been better spent onto the benched Monkey Dory, then the game would be over this previous turn.
And it's just a matter of figuring out where damage should go. Am I going to attack? Can I flip heads? And moves damage back. Another Mind Bend. Jellicent EX all the way down to 10 HP remaining.
Oh my goodness. Now, we can send 90 damage onto the Gardevoir. Leave it with 30 HP left and try to flip heads again. Is that being a little stubborn at this point? If we had targeted down the bench Monkey Dory, the game would have been over already. All right, we're going to see an Ultra Ball. We're going to see a little bit of thinning. I don't know if we're going to see an Iono. Like, you know your opponent doesn't have anything good, right? I mean, they have very good cards in their hand. They just can't play them. So I don't think you Iono. I think At this point, you don't attack anymore. You just say pass. You don't risk the coin flip. There's no need. And 280? Yeah, 280 damage on the Gardevoir. Yeah, we just see a pass. I do believe we just see a pass. This has to be a Dark Energy off the top, and it's not.
Mew EX and no way to thin the hand down. All of these items and tool cards clogged in the hand. Unplayable Oceanic Curse claiming another victim.
Yeah, triple Adrenabrain onto the Gardevoir EX. Calvin can only send 6 damage back, but that's going to leave 90 damage onto the Gardevoir. And I think that's going to be the game. That isn't even enough.
The accumulation of damage. We saw this several turns ago, and after Jellicent EX goes down, there's still 3 Monkey Dory on Abaan's side.
And Screamtail seals it, and Abaan advances to the finals of the Pittsburgh Regional Championship.
An incredible mirror match, even after a disastrous game number 1 put him behind. Abaan Ahmed brings it back 2-0 in dominant fashion.